Welcome, everyone. Glad you're all here. And I don't know if it's too late to say Happy New Year's, but Happy New Year's to everybody. And I saw a post in Facebook yesterday that we're entering the Chinese year of the fire horse. So buckle up. It sounds like it's going to be an incredible ride this year. And how do we stay resilient and in our saddle? To begin with, let us know in chat where you're calling in from, or a 1 or 2 word mood check. Like, how are you? How's everybody doing? It's been an intense week in the US, at least. So love to hear from everybody, whatever you want to share, your location or your mood for today, coming in on this Friday. What's today? January 9th. I'm Brian Spielman, founder and CEO of Academy of Therapy Wisdom. And I'm so excited today to introduce our teacher, Jules Taylor Shore, AKA Jules. Northern Ireland, snowy Connecticut, Madison, Chicago, UK, Brooklyn, Seattle. Welcome, everyone. Netherlands, New Jersey, Twin Cities. We feel for you, everyone in Twin Cities, where I lived for 12 years, really close to where all the happenings have been this week. To begin, when we started Therapy Wisdom, I think it's been 5 years ago, we were inspired to serve students with 2 ideal images of teachers. One was well-established leaders in the field, and we began with Janina Fisher. And the second was emerging voices, younger teachers, the next generation doing genuine original work and needing a platform to share their work. And first in our mind was Jules. We actually started working with Jules a full year before we even launched Therapy Wisdom. And just witness her teach, we knew there was something incredibly unique about her approach and different from most clinical trainings. Most of us came from grad schools knowing a lot about what to do. You learn theories, diagnosis, hopefully a variety of modalities. You learn to listen for content, the story, the narrative, what the client is telling us. But what almost no one taught us is how to track what's actually happening in the room, and not the words, the process, the moment by moment unfolding between 2 nervous systems, yours and your client's. And that's part of the shift that Jules has spent her career articulating. She's the creator of the STAIR method, self-trust and integrated resilience, which has become a foundational framework for clinicians working with complex trauma, developmental injuries, and clients who seem to understand but don't change. And knowing Jules for at least 6 years, maybe 7, what I respect most about Jules is that she doesn't just teach concepts, she teaches what you actually do in real time in the room when a client is dysregulated, shut down, or caught in patterns that talk therapy alone can't reach. And nobody has better demos, seriously, than Jules. So today she's going to show you what it looks like to move from content to process in a way that's clinically precise, relationally attuned, and grounded. And just a word about the format today is Jules is going to teach for 45 minutes. Jules has so much to talk, she might go on for 4 hours.
Go on, Brian. I might go on a little longer than that. It's possible.
Jules just has the floor. She's going to go on. But at the end of Jules' teaching, which may be like 6 p.m. Mountain Time, I'm going to come back for a few minutes to share information about her STAIR method, level 1 program. And to be honest, I made a mistake when I wrote copy for this of saying by accident, method.
You said model.
Model. So
it's not a model.
It's not a model. So I hope you guys get that. My ADD brain kept going to model. Just for those who want to continue their work in a structured way, it's completely optional, no pressure, just information for those who feel drawn to go deeper. And then we'll stay on for Q&A. So thanks for being here, Jules. I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Brian. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks for creating this platform where we can share this work.
And those are true words. Like when we started Therapy Wisdom, June 2020, we thought of you, like supporting you, and you've turned us on to so many other amazing presenters.
Oh, great. Oh, yay. I'm so glad to be here, everybody. I want to jump right in because I have lots to share with you. I love experiential therapy, and I want to tell you more about it today and help you with some ideas By the end of today, I want you to have at least exposure to 3 really important tools to help deepen your experiential work right away, stuff you can use on Monday when you get back to work, or later this afternoon for those of you who have clients later on today. So, yeah, let's jump in. So today we're going to be looking at painting with an experiential brush. I want to start that right now. I don't want to get through this. I want to love through this. I want to grieve through this. I want to laugh through this. I want to scream through this. I want to learn through this. I want to open through this. I want to grow through this. Those are words from the poet Andrea Gibson. I wonder if you could pause right now and just notice what's alive in your body. What images are coming to you? What senses of a thing are coming to you as you think about therapy that helps you and the clients you serve grow through this and open through this and scream through this and grieve through this, which will create emergence that's way beyond getting through this. Just take a moment right now to be with you and just notice what is stirring in me as I think about therapy in this way. And I wonder if you could welcome whatever is coming. Fear, nervousness, wonder, awe, helplessness, pain, love, expansion, creativity, whatever it is that's coming up for you right now. Could you give a little hello to and just say, thanks for being here. I see you. What is experiential therapy? These are types of therapy that focus on embodied process and real-time experiences in the therapeutic space to bring a client into relationship with feelings, attitudes, and beliefs that are generally considered to be subconscious. You probably have at least heard of lots of different experiential therapies. Hakomi, sensory motor psychotherapy, somatic experiencing therapy, any of our parts model, ego state, internal family systems, any of those pieces of work that work with inner children, gestalt therapies, all of these are experiential type of therapies. And my journey into experiential therapy has been a little bit unusual, I guess, because when I first went to therapy, I was probably your nightmare experiential therapy client. The first time my therapist asked me to picture a younger self in an empty chair across from me, I told him to F off and walked out of the office. I'm not kidding. I did come back the next week because I don't quit things, but oh my gosh, I was genuinely your therapy is woo-woo. I don't know why we're talking about this. Why do you want me to slow down? I'm trying to tell you a story. I was one of the hardest clients to work with experientially. And my therapist tried to stick with it anyway. And tried to bring me into relationship with myself anyway. And my processes, thank goodness he did. And by 2 years in to therapy, I still thought it was probably woo-woo. I still did not know what was going on. And I had to admit that my life had been transformed in ways that genuinely, y'all, saved my life. I started therapy when I was in a domestic violence relationship, and I was really in life threat on the regular. And I made it out of that relationship, not because my therapist urged me to get out, but because my therapist helped me grow my relationship with myself. And even though I was really deeply resistant to all the ways he was doing that, he stuck with me. And that I was an auto mechanic back then. So I wasn't doing this for a living. And it did transform my life so much. I thought, what on earth is happening here? I've got to figure this out. So I went to grad school and I started doing research in neurobiology because I wanted to know, what is this thing that feels so woo to me? How is it working? And I wanted to find out more about the processes that were happening underneath. I am a little bit more of an engineering mind. I was an auto mechanic before this. I care a lot about why stuff works. And all of that led me to a bunch of different outcome studies where I was really looking at experiential therapy and how is it working? Like, one, I think feeling like it's working and it actually working are two different things. So I love that we're trying to do research and more sound research as our field grows. And so I leaned really heavy into the research and found out that experiential therapies are actually doing really, really well. So they are increasing client self-trust. They are decreasing reported symptoms. These types of therapies decrease high risk and high cost behaviors over time. They increase the availability of positive affect. They also increase the availability of expansive affective experiences, meaning that clients at the back end have more comfortable and attuned relationship with their own affect experience, and can have a lot of confidence in being able to feel really big things in a variety of different directions, hard feelings and more pleasant feelings. And they have more confidence in their ability to be in relationship with and regulate those feelings. And so, of course, it ends up that there's a phenomenal increase in the self-reported sense of well-being for people who engage in these types of therapies. So because I'm super interested in neurobiology, I was wondering about what is this therapy, this type of therapy, which is very process-oriented. It's very relationship-oriented. It is all about slowing way down and coming into relationship with what's happening right now. I was wondering, what is it that is happening in these types of therapies? Well, the first thing we can understand is that we are not feeling beings that sometimes think we're, or rather, let me say that differently. We are feeling beings that sometimes think, not thinking beings that sometimes feel. So that idea comes from Antonio Damasio, who, when he started writing about the anatomy of the lower brain and what this must mean about our processes back in the early 90s, lots of people actually thought he was maybe out of it a little bit. Like, there was a lot of criticism of his work. Now he's thought of as one of the most deep thinkers about feelings and overall understands how we create the self better than almost anybody out there. So this idea is coming directly from him, from this idea that we are actually, I got all emotional earlier, y'all. Now I'm feeling the feels of that. Let me pause for a moment and be with myself. Giving me a hug. Oh, I see your hearts. Thanks, y'all. You're so kind. Yeah. So, of course, I am also a feeling being that sometimes thinks. So here we are with this brain that feels first and thinks sometimes. And the lower brain has this really hard job. It's working to make sense of the world that's constantly changing and helping you get to all these goals you have and to keep you protected all at the same time. It is a big job, and it's happening at really fast speeds. The other thing to know about the brain and why experiential therapy works is that regulation of those feelings without shutting them down or blocking them out is totally possible, because the upper brain can be in relationship with the lower brain. And when it is, it's really good at regulating that lower brain and listening to that lower brain at the same time. So one of the big things all of our different experiential therapies are doing is something that's super akin to mindfulness. They're all looking to separate out the witnessing self from other experiences that are happening and bringing that witnessing self into kind and curious relationship with those happenings. The other thing to notice is that when our clients are having sticky issues, chances are good it's something in the lower brain that needs to change, something in that brainstem, diencephalon, in those subcortical networks. It's something on the inside and a little bit deeper down that's going to need to shift if we want those sticky issues to shift for us. In order to do that, we're going to have activation in that lower brain, which means we're going to turn on all the stuff that's making everything so sticky. And we're going to be adding regulation at the same time. So one really important thing to know if you're going to be working in experiential therapy is your biggest job is going to be supporting the building and deepening of the relationship between your client's upper brain and lower brain. In order to do this really well, y'all, you are going to have to do the same thing inside you. Have a really good, deep, kind relationship between your upper brain and your lower brain. There are tons of benefits I see when we build this relationship. We get more wisdom from within because our subcortical system is actually really good at figuring out what we need to do to get to goals and how to protect us well and what needs protection. So the more connected we are with that lower brain, the more internal wisdom and the more intuitive hits we're going to start to get. That sense that you just my intuition tells me this is what's going on here, or my intuition is kind of guiding me in this life path. That gets so much better when we are with our subcortical brains, when we're in that relationship. I find that in clients, healing paths are really unique. So we could look at some general data and I don't know about y'all, but when I am with my folks over and over again, what I see is everybody has a path that kind of surprises me. It is easier for us to find this path if we can listen and be connected to that lower brain. Most of the time, I think what ends up happening is there's a discovery process where we understand viscerally our own worth and we build deep self-trust as we're connected to these lower systems. And this is not self-trust that is built on some sort of false confidence or thinking we're always right. It's actually self-trust that's built in humility and curiosity and trust in our processes and in our relationship with ourselves and in our ability to build relationship with other people. And that kind of self-trust is way more stable and flexible than the kind that sometimes people will say, oh, I trust myself because I know I'm always right. There's a lot of rigidity in that and can lead us down paths that are really hard. So I'm interested in how this deepening relationship with ourselves in real time can add to an experience of trust in myself and my processes and my worth, my value, and to treat myself like a being who has value, which I think is what we want for all our people. The other piece that is really important when we're building these relationships, I think one of the biggest benefits is that these subcortically held learnings, these, I call them emotional knowings, are changeable, and they can be easier to change if we have that relationship built, because it builds a holding space where it's easier for really deep transformation to happen in the subcortical system. A lot of times I get asked, when on earth do we go experiential, though, Jules? Lots of my clients want to do talk therapy, and they're used to talking to people in a certain way, and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable in my space, but I also want to go experiential. When should I do this? Well, there are lots of different opportunities. And for anybody who's ever seen me work, and for those who are new to my work, you'll actually see me work later today because I do have some client tape to share. For my work, most of my work is experiential, but there are some particular points of time inside your sessions I really want to encourage you to go a little bit more experiential in order to find a focus for a session. That's a great time to really listen to the body, to listen to the imagery, to listen up to a sense of a thing, because your lower brain has a better map for the healing path than your upper brain does. So if I just ask, why are you here? What are we doing today? To this upper brain, it's going to tell me all sorts of stuff. But if we can slow down and wonder, oh, I hear you. You're wanting to have this deeper connection with your partner, and you're feeling really cut off from them right now. Can we slow down and wonder inside, oh, what should we look at with a little bit more depth today in order to help us get a little bit closer to that connection you're wanting with our partner? So when you work to find a focus in the session, great time to go experiential. If you're wanting to activate a healing brain state, that is high activation and high regulation so that they're held in balance, experiential is going to be your fastest way there. It's really hard to target old emotional learnings that are driving hard things now if we're only talking about them. So if you want to bring them up and alive in the body when we're coming into relationship with those hard learnings, that's a time you want to go experiential. And anytime we're in one of those processes that's truly transformative, grief, awe, love, these I think of as processes that are doing work for us to help us move from seeing this much of reality to being able to be in relationship with a little bit more of reality. And I think of them as, we use different words because the nature of the reality we're coming into contact with is different. And so the process feels really different inside. But I think what's happening underneath is exactly the same process. Is, oh, I need to transform myself a bit to emerge into a deeper contact with reality. So anytime we're in a grief process, we're in that discovery, awe, wow, connected to bigger things than me, really seeing my small place in this big flow of things. Those are awe experiences. Or anytime we're deepening our connection with ourselves or others. These are all processes that help us experience more of ourselves and life, I think. And anytime your client needs to learn a thing that they haven't done yet. So I'm thinking about practices they may be wanting to put in place that will help their brain grow and transform slowly over time. We're going to want to go experiential to find practices that are going to be unique for that person and really supportive for their growth. Ooh. So I wonder if we could pause just for a moment. And I wonder if you could notice that it is true that that was a whole lot of data, and that you're going to get a recording of all of that so you can go back over it anytime. And your system might have really connected with one or two pieces of what you just heard. And I wonder if you could let that be right and enough, and your lower brain showing you, grab this. And there are so many of us here. Each one of you might grab a slightly different thing. So see what stands out for you. And you can make a note of that, maybe in your body, in an image, or you could write it down. Whatever way your brain processes information is just right. So I want to share with you all a tape. I'll say a little bit about how I come to have tape and what my ethics are around tape collection. And we're going to use this tape to dive deeper into 3 different skills that will support you in experiential work. So, how I come by tape is I ask for volunteers to do demo work with me. Sometimes those people have met me before in a workshop or training. Sometimes these people are brand new to me. I've never met them. Generally, the session is 2 hours long, and I will show you small pieces of that session. Most of the time in my demo tape, that's the only time that I've done deeper work with this person. So that's true of this tape. This person I did have contact with in a previous workshop, and so we had limited contact that way. And the tape you're about to see is somebody who really wanted to do experiential work and also could go really intellectual. He knew he would need a lot of support. This client needs a ton of support to stay in experiential world. So he was really excited to try out a demo tape. The other thing I want you to know about the tape is once we lay down the tape, all these clients have total ownership of that tape and can ask me not to include it at any time. And I double check with them over time that it's okay that I use the tape. And they have total rights to say, oh, no, thanks, at any point. So let's see. The only thing I think is important to know going in, because in this process is important and content is not as important. The only thing I think you need to know is that we were working on this idea that he was delighted by and scared of simultaneously. I kind of want to say yes to being ordinary. If I could just let myself be more ordinary, I'd have more ease in my life. So today, we're going to use this tape to learn 3 skills. To do any of the skills you're about to learn, letting go of story and content is going to be important. slowing way down is going to be important. And saying yes to talking in really unusual ways is going to be helpful. The first skill I want us to focus on is differentiating the witnessing mind from what is being experienced. So your witnessing mind is up in the front part of your brain, and the what is being experienced is being processed in the lower part of your brain. And we want to differentiate one from the other. So the witnessing mind is separate from what's being experienced. That's differentiation first, and we're in relationship with, that's link second. So in an open, dynamic, complex system, which your brain is one of those, so are beehives and anthills and cloud patterns and waves. So in that kind of system, differentiation first, link second, leads to emergence and flexibility and stability. So I lean heavy into this skill because we are that kind of system. So what I want to do when I differentiate that witnessing mind is I'll be really clear in my head who I'm talking to at any given moment in the session. Oh, am I talking to this client's witnessing mind, or am I talking to the experience that's happening? I want that to be pretty clear for me. And I want to use language that's going to help him keep that separation and start to grow that relationship between the front brain and the lower brain. So let's watch a tape.
Yeah. If we can help me just be more ordinary, I think I'd have a lot more ease. There, I said it.
So like even to hear your if I could let myself be more ordinary, I could have more ease. If I could let myself just be right
like
there with that.
Jingle,
right?
If I could just be normal. If I could just be,
yeah.
If I could just be ordinary, I'd be at ease. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay.
What happens inside, even if you let yourself really think that thought for a second? If I could just let myself be more ordinary, I'd be more at ease. And just be with whatever emotion is happening, or maybe there's a sensation or even a muscular movement comes up in your body. Just wonder about it for a second. I want to let myself be ordinary.
I want to let myself just be ordinary. So like a slightness of, I'd say tension, but like if it had two of those flattened spatula things, I do a tongue depressor, like touching the back of my muscles, just gently, so that feels like a sense of ease, like a holding. I feel that right now.
Yeah. And does anything else happen other than the tongue depressor feeling? It's fine if it doesn't. We might have already grabbed it.
Yeah. It's a little different, like behind my belly button and behind my organs, but before my spinal column, like someone there, like I don't want to call it a release, but like a ushy jelliness, okayness. Yeah. And it's not like totally relaxed, but it's like a place of relaxation. So yeah, and I feel like I'm relaxing in that whole. I get that's like, that's my core. It's not my front core. It's like my back core. That is my core. Yeah, I'm relaxing there. With the tongue depressor, just gentle. It's like a holding thing right here.
Like a holding thing right here.
So there you can see I'm really aware we're talking right now to experiences in the lower brain. And I can tell he has some witnessing mind on board because he's able to describe it. But I'm also noticing we don't have a ton of relationship with it yet. We don't know how these two different sensations, the jelly and the tongue depressor, are in relationship with each other. We're not sure about that yet. So we're just going to find out a little bit more. And I'll ask that witnessing mind to separate out and come into relationship with what we're experiencing.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, and could you let yourself drop into open plane of possibility and just check out with the tongue depressors, how do they feel towards the jelly behind the belly button?
Oh, oh, now I get my truth feeling. They like each other. I mean, they belong together. That's how they feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They go together.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you ask the tongue depressors, what do you know about ordinary?
Hmm. Hmm. It's pretty common. And, a lot of people seem happy being ordinary.
Mm.
What else? What do the tongue depressors know about?
You can literally ask them, like, feel that feeling. And it's like you're going to turn the question towards that feeling, like, oh, wait, what do you know about ordinary?
What do you know about ordinary?
Yeah.
Um, ordinary is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinary is safe. Ordinary is acceptable. Ordinary is normative. Ordinary is equal. Ordinary is those things, isn't it? Yeah. Ordinary, it turns out, is kind of, yeah, it could be really safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Normal equals safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And could you ask the jelly feeling behind the belly button?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel towards the tongue depressors?
Oh. How do you feel towards the tongue depressor?
Yep, exactly. That's right.
They're welcome. We can be friends. We actually go together.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like saying, you should have introduced us sooner, Leonard.
Oh.
Or maybe they've talked. I don't know. But
Well,
feels
if
feels fun.
Jelly says you should have introduced us sooner, I'll go with it and believe
Yeah.
and know that okay, cool. You didn't know each
Oh,
other.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and could you ask?
And
Yeah,
jelly
go ahead.
kind of feels like let's go with that. Kind of feels like that partnership is welcome because it's like tying together my core from my stem to my stern, sort of, from my neck to my
Mm-hmm.
like the vital part of my body, except for my brain. I guess I
Mm-hmm.
don't need it. I don't know, but I'm trying to be funny.
So there you saw a lot of really separation and asking questions of that experience. What do they know about each other? Do they want to be in relationship? This may be new relationship. So notice I'm being pretty specific with my language and I'm modeling separation with my body movements. So I'm doing moves like, oh, that might increase that separation. Oh, could you just back up and ask them? And these kind of moves help with that differentiation. The next skill I want to leave you with today is speaking in the language of the lower brain is going to be really helpful. So language of the lower brain is actually not as much words, though there are some words, a sense of a thing, or words that kind of wrap a cloak around the truth. Those kind of words will be part of what we're sharing, of course. And we're also going to be looking for sensations, movement. I'm going to talk in gestures. We're going to use sound effects. We're going to be talking about senses of things, feelings in the language of the felt sense way. So, oh, that feeling feels rah, right. I'm going to be using those sound effects and the feeling vocabulary that comes with how a feeling is trying to express. And then that upper brain will put a label on it like, oh, that feeling feels, and then my client's upper brain might go, I guess I'm scared, right? So, oh, we're labeling that feeling. And the feeling in the felt sense way is the, right? I'm going to be really open to sensory fragments from history. I'm going to be really open to metaphorical imagery. So, tongue depressors, jelly near the spine, these sorts of ways of talking are going to be really helpful. So here's another tape as we are really leaning into language of the lower brain.
And so I'm wondering if right now, even as I say that, ask the backs of the arm feeling here, that tongue depressor feeling. Can you show us where in the body that never make a mistake, get it always right, be the most special, be the most achiever? Can you show us where does that network show up? We want that one here too.
Well, it's showing up as a thought more than a feeling.
Yeah, that's okay. What's the thought?
Well, the thought is, I don't understand things. I'm confused. I've got an older brother that's often scapegoated and is told he's a bull in the china shop, and he does get into trouble. He's five years older, so I'm like, I don't know, 7, 8 here, so he'd be 13. He'd be just getting into some pretty good trouble. Anyway, in my body, I'm not sure where. It's like a disconnected, like, it's like, oh God, don't do that type of thing. Like,
Yeah, that feeling right there, that, oh God,
it.
don't feel that.
Yeah,
Grab
okay.
that for me. What does that feel like? Is it like here-ish, or is it more in the arms? Is it like a push away sort of feeling?
Okay. Okay, something's coming to me. Oh gosh. Yeah, so I had, I think I had an energy field around me like this, and I feel this is a holding tongue, but I felt my energy compress in, like, come in, come in, come in.
Yeah, it's like a squeezing in.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
different than tongue depressor. This is a come in. When you make a mistake like that, and people are shocked and horrified, and you are the problem, come in.
Gotcha.
You're not safe. You're not
yeah.
safe. They're not safe. That's where it changed.
Right. Perfect. The come in feeling. Got it. Got it. Got it. Great. So I wonder if you could just notice that combo of scolding faces. They're horrified by what you've done. They're horrified by what your older brother was doing, the one who's 5 years older. They weren't horrified by 9-year older brother because he was doing everything perfectly. Exactly. Right. And this one goes.
Yes.
I
sucked in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder what happens to that energy if you tell that energy, I want to be ordinary. I am ordinary. Just tell that energy that and just tell me, does it get bigger? Is it screaming at you? Is it freaking out?
I am ordinary. I want to be ordinary. I am ordinary. I want to be ordinary. I am ordinary brings more of this truth thing, I call it. There's a stuckiness. It wants to come out. There's like a fountain that wants to uncork a little more, but it's like an air energy, like flumes, like plumes. But, so it's more gaseous. It's not fluid. Yeah.
Did the come in suck in energy turn to gas, or is it more like the come in is keeping the gas from pluming like it wants?
It's preventing it from pluming like it wants, there's a inside of me. I mean, I have a
Mm.
tremendous amount of energy inside of me, and I feel like I'm always restraining it.
Mm. Talk about
Yeah.
ease
Um,
difficulty. Yeah. So I
yeah.
wonder if you could just notice that restraint, suck in, come in kind of feeling. I'm
Okay.
restraining my energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I wonder if we could just notice, oh, that energy's like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It keeps a cork in it. It goes, yeah.
Yeah.
You feel it right now in your body, even a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you ask it? Literally ask, what do I misunderstand about you?
Oh. Hmm. What do I misunderstand about you? It's saying that I'm keeping the cork on.
It's not me who's keeping the cork on.
This
It's
is,
Leonard
I'm
who's keeping the
here.
cork on.
Yeah, I'm here. Let's play. I can express.
Uh-huh.
I can be ordinary. I can be expressive. I can be
Mm-hmm.
creative. It
Mm-hmm.
can.
It can.
It's me
It's
keeping the cork on so I don't spill the Kool-Aid again. So I don't
gotcha.
embarrass
Mm-hmm.
everybody and my parents and they got another fallen child, you know.
So really keeping in that language, you using that language, letting your body embody this kind of lower space invites our clients to stay in that lower space, to stay really curious about what's happening. The other really important thing that I want to share with you today is we really need to bring the activation up in the lower part of the system if it's going to have any kind of transformation happening. So transformation happens in that lower brain when we're running electricity. So the languaging is going to help bring that activation up. Slowing down is going to help bring that activation up, and encouraging with your own emphasis, body movements. Can you let the activation come up in your own body to say, hey, we can make a space that has such a big container between you and me. And we have so much trust. I have trust in my own system. I have trust in your system that we can let this activation come up, and we have a container big enough to hold it. A lot of times in the trainings I've been in, there's a lot of talk about regulation and not as much talk about activation. So I really want to help us not be, I want us to be really thoughtful about how we do it. I want us to think about the relational container, the trust we have in our people, the trust we have in ourselves to be in relationship with big activation. I want us to do it responsibly. And I want to encourage us to bring that activation up in the room. So here's a tape of that.
Like, is there a special kind of feeling? A probably pretty unpleasant one that goes with the horror of being looked at as defective.
Yeah, I mean, it's not fully felt, but it's felt right right where I have a little fat below my belly button.
Yeah, it's
It's
like in
shame.
there.
It's shame. It's strong. It's dark. I mean,
It's that feeling. Okay,
yeah,
slow,
and
slow.
it's my mother's scorn. I mean, she had a look. She used to again produce. So in the '70s, she became a manager at Sears,
Mm,
and ran 3 levels or 3 to 7 apartments or whatever, which was quite a
mm-hmm.
thing in the '70s. My mom was not an attractive woman, and so she would often tell people, and I'm telling you and all the people on this call, that she could cut men down. She could make them feel dirty in a few words or a look. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's that look. She had a couple of looks. So that scorn I seen from people's faces. So I think to answer your question, the feeling, I get more of, I can see the facial expression,
Mm-hmm.
but there's, I think, layers of scar or walled offness of, I can feel the shame. I know it's not real true, but it's true enough, and it like keeps people away, which is kind of like how you stay identified with your mother to keep people away.
Mm.
Because she was always attacking people. Well, verbally, she's very sarcastic, and
Mm.
she
So,
had friends. It was weird, but yeah. Uh,
yeah.
anyway, I'm a little afield. So
Would
you're
would
asking
it
the test is it true, the defective, and what's the feeling, and what's
defective? Yeah.
the
When
feeling
somebody
is
has
right.
that facial expression, like
Yeah.
just feel the, let's just check it out with your system. And
Okay.
we're going to let your system know. Jules and Leonard are guessing. We're not sure. Belly,
Okay.
can you help us understand if we're tracking this right? There's a facial expression, and then right now you just remember the facial expression. You keep seeing that scorn
Mhm.
look, the
Okay.
cutting people down look.
Yeah.
Could be from your mom, could be from other people who have a similar kind of look.
Mhm.
And that vague sensation in the belly that's not all the way on yet. It's not as bad as it could get,
Mhm.
but it's like a shame feeling. And I'm actually going to separate out shame from humiliation. I wonder if it's a humiliation feeling. It's the feeling where you took in how they wanted you to feel.
Mhm.
And then the shame comes a little bit later in the sequence where, oh, I must be bad.
Mhm.
This is evidence of my badness.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when we separate it out like that, belly, are we getting it? Is this feeling, that gross, yucky feeling in the belly? Is that the feeling? Are we understanding?
That's a good parsing out. I think it is more humiliation. I'm getting another image.
Mm.
Some part of me wants to say, "Oh, I should have paid close attention," but that's part of the whole humiliation thing. I need to pay closer attention to everything and be vigilant. No, I don't.
So that this feeling doesn't happen.
Right. If
Right.
if if Seth ran up to the and I found his underwear in the driveway, I
Hmm.
just throw him in the car.
Yeah, of course. Of course you would. Yeah.
Okay. So
Oh, did I just catch something? Does this feeling, the one that feels, it feels bad. Ah, check this. I just had a thought. You saw my eyes light up because I got a cool idea, but I want your systems to know I'm not attached to this idea. So if you don't want to do it, just ignore me. Okay. Can you sit back down, like almost like right there, almost like you lean up against this feeling
okay.
and just ask this feeling, how bad did it get sometimes inside my own body? How big and how hard was this feeling really?
It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard.
Hard enough you'd probably build a landscape around not having it again, trying to prevent it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you ask, even though it's really this is gonna be painful. I'm not gonna fudge around that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feel okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
could you ask the sensation in your belly right now? Could you
Mm-hmm.
show me just a little bit how bad it could get?
Mm-hmm. Could you show me just a little bit how bad it could get? Could you show me just a little bit how bad it could get?
What
it,
happens inside when you ask?
it's like a dark hole opens of loneliness, abandonment, isolation. Like all the kids, just trying to make, feel weird. I feel like, Philip Hoban or the other kids that are
Yeah,
picked on. So now I'm square
yeah.
in that camp. It's the kid who lost his underwear, which seems like a small thing, and it kind of is. But
And then it feels like
and
that
black
black
hole,
hole feeling.
isolated. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And and can you just imagine a picture of yourself at age 8 or 9? A photograph.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Now I
Hmm.
wonder if you could feel this black hole feeling and just let yourself know the kid in that photo felt this feeling a lot, a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And had to figure out ways to make it happen less.
Hmm.
Of course he did. Yeah. How are you feeling towards him now?
Well, it's pretty unfair, pretty tolerant. I feel like because I'm picturing, I mean, like all kids, right? But I mean,
Hmm.
young, innocent, just a little boy. I mean, he's just a little boy. So
He's
I feel
just a
lots,
little boy.
I feel lots of compassion for him. Like, oh, you don't need to have a black hole. Like, I'll take care of it.
Oh,
Like, I feel compassion. I mean, I feel sadness, but I feel mostly like I want to scoop him up. And I mean, I was just kind of I mean, he was blonde till like third or fourth grade. I got
hmm
hazel eyes, but I mean, it was just a little kid. I chipped my tooth in like fourth grade or something like that. But
hmm So
so
there's that little
I lived
kid with a chipped
with
tooth,
the imperfection, but
with the
I didn't,
imperfection,
but
with the ordinariness.
I didn't mind that. 'Cause, yeah, but yeah, the
Yeah.
ordinary. So that's how I feel towards that.
You feel kindly towards him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And can you ask your belly right now?
Hmm.
And it's like we're going to ask him, right? Can he feel you with him? Does he feel that compassion or not really? He doesn't want it right now, or he doesn't know it's real, or
Oh, I think he can feel it's real because he knows I see truth that he didn't see then and can see now
yeah.
because I'm seeing it because I'm laying into him and
Hmm.
I feel his sadness, I feel his
Hmm.
loneliness and the
Mm.
violation of it all. Like, really, that happened? Are you sure? Yeah, I keep testing all the adults and they all agree. It's like
Hmm.
really kind of a mean thing, man.
Yeah.
And I like you. I mean, we've done other things, different parts, but that age, yeah, I definitely feel compassion, kindness, and
Towards
love them
him,
and
towards
want
that
them.
little
And,
boy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if you could pause here and just notice if you would like to deepen into one of these skills, differentiating witnessing mind, using that lower brain language, be making spaces where you both say yes to bringing the activation up. Just notice if you'd like to pay attention to one of those right now. And let's do a little experiential. Just notice whichever one you choose. Oh, here's what might get sticky for me if I tried to do that thing. And then I wonder if you can bring a little love, a little kindness to whatever that sticky thing is you caught. See if you can build relationship with your own hard moments that might block you from using this skill with depth. And you may learn through that loving connection with yourself some ways to support that. And you may learn that there's an invitation inside to go deeper at another moment with yourself as you explore, ooh, what comes up between me and me as I try to use this skill. I just want to thank you all for being with me today through that. Oh, I hope that you found something that you can use to paint with an experiential brush in a deeper way. I'm just so grateful for your attention and your kindness. And thank you to Sweet Leonard for lending his work to our growth today.
That was really amazing.
Oh, good.
I hope I could say this. You know, there some of the best teachers are not necessarily built to teach.
Oh,
but they have such a deep burning desire to share something remarkable in their insights. And sharing that knowledge is even bigger than any self-doubts or fear. So I hope I'm not revealing too much.
No, it's totally fine. We can say to everybody, I have great fear around teaching and I find it really hard. So, but the passion is so big.
So you've made yourself remarkable. And I think for all of us, anything's possible, like beyond our fears and self-doubt. So just to do my thing as CEO of Therapy Wisdom, pitching therapists is probably the hardest thing in the world than selling a Toyota. So I'll just put that out there because I know. But for people who really want to continue with Jules and the STAIR program, and this is all Jules thinks about 24/7. You're probably feeling like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. This is the piece I've been missing. Somebody wrote, well, I just graduated college. I don't have many modalities, but we see so many therapists that are overwhelmed with too many models. They've got this model and they're all great. IFS. I mean, we've worked with them personally. SPI with Pat Ogden and Dick, but where do you put it in your mind without getting overwhelmed? And I think that's what Jules tracks what's happening in the body. And you just got a glimpse of that in the demo today. You know, the way she slows down instead of speeding up, the way she stays with a client's nervous system. And it's not just to downregulate, but it's also to activate and just not getting pulled into content, which I think for a new person would be really easy to get into the story. And then there's another part, like, how can I actually do this? Like, it's Monday morning. Well, today's Friday, but it's 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. You got your first client. You didn't sleep well last night. And the gap between understanding something and being able to do it is exactly what STAIR 1 is designed to bridge. And I know from the majority of people on our platform, you're highly skilled. You're so compassionate and well-trained. Yet there's still something that feels stuck maybe with certain clients. And it's not your knowledge. You've done the training. You've read the books. And you can explain polyvagal, attachment, Hakomi, trauma responses. And I think what Jules is pointing to in STAIR 1 is that insights alone don't recognize the nervous system. What recognizes the nervous system is something different. It's structure, pacing, repetition, which you got a small glimpse in that demo. And most trainings give you concepts and send you on your way. You leave inspired, super inspired, but within a couple of weeks, you're back to your default settings. And that's how Jules designed the STAIR level 1. Our first go around, we did it pretty quick. We slowed it down to titrate this over, I think it's 10 calls over 5 months through April or May.
Yeah.
So STAIR level 1 is not a grab bag of techniques you'll forget. It's not about doing more sessions, more information to add to your already full brain. It's, if I could, correct me if I'm wrong here, it's a structured, clinical grounded framework. It'll be probably the first course you've ever taken that somebody's an auto mechanic in the past, I bet.
That is totally possible, right?
So, it took me 2 years to find that out about Jules. Now it's out in the public. And it's a way to work with affected regulation as a process, not a one-time intervention. And and how to stay oriented when clients feel overwhelmed or shut down, and that you don't feel overwhelmed.
Yeah. Can I say something about
please
that?
jump in.
I think one of the things that's really overwhelming is we get all these tools and they end up as like a mess in a bag we're kind of carrying around with us. And I want us to have our tools be really, really organized. So what I'm doing is building a framework that's based on principles of brain change. And that when you learn this framework, all your tools will go, and then you can see where you are in the room inside of this experiential work and go, oh, of course, this is the tool I need. And it's right there for you without you even really having to think about it. And that takes a while to deepen into. That's why we made it so we slowed it way down and really want you to sit with the material for a long time. And STAIR Level 1 is all about how are we going to build that container therapeutically that's going to be so big and so strong that experiential work with high activation can be held really well. And to start your understanding of how to build a framework where you can integrate skills from a bunch of different modalities. So that's why I think of it as a method rather than a model, because this is a method of integrative therapy.
And we were working with Esther Perel many years ago, and she's like, everybody sits in their silo and nobody's talking to each other. And we get into a battle. This is better than this. These three initials are better, but it's not about that. Like
I don't think that at all. I think they're all so wonderful.
But it's like what you said. It's like, what part of the brain are you talking to? So you know which tool to use. So we'll get into questions. There's some great Q&A questions that people submitted. But if what Jules shared today landed with you, if you felt that quiet yes, or maybe it was a louder yes, somewhere in your body, and I'm not trying to pressure urgency or be sneaky here, but I invite you to take a look at STAIR 1. I just rewatched the video of all the testimonials on level 1, and a couple of people like Holly were commenting that we did do level 1, was it 18 months ago? It was, and Jules does not stop until like her training. It just gets more and more. And there's 15 hours of training. There's 10 calls, 90 minutes each that are a meeting format. So you get to interact with Jules. And plus, how much content do we film?
Asa might know. Asa. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's hours and hours and hours and hours.
So the link is in the chat. You can review the full curriculum, the structure, the pacing, and then you can decide whether anyone without any
video here.
Thank you. Do you know how many hours of video content are also in the store?
Looks like it says 11 hours of pre-recorded content.
Laura, thank you. I see you. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so glad it's supportive. Thanks for engaging with the work like this. Laura just put in that she has trained in STAIR level 1 and 2, and it's the best work you've done. This is so great. I'm so excited. And what this means, Laura, is you are saying yes to jumping into engagement with this learning too. So I'm celebrating you. Heck yeah. You're amazing. Love it.
Thank you, Lara. Thanks. So whether or not you join us, we're grateful for the work you're doing in the world. STAIR level is a fit. We honor support you. So hopefully Jules' teaching today will move you forward. And any final words, and we can go on to Q&A?
Oh, I'm just excited to be offering a framework that helps you know where you are in the room and helps you be with yourself and your people in a way that's really heart-led and brings all your humanness in. So I'm just really excited by that being a possibility for all of us.
Okay. Here's a question we get from everybody teaching. How are you different than IFS? It seems so similar, but with a different language.
Oh, well, for sure. I am interested in working with parts. And for some people, they really love parts language. For some people, some of my clients really do not enjoy parts language. I think we're all experiential therapies are leaning into a similar underlying reality that you are driven by this lower brain, and that the lower brain speaks in a lot of different languages, and parts is one of those languages. I think what's a little bit different about STAIR maybe is that we're really expanding beyond just parts, but there's a lot of different ways to engage with that subcortical system. So I think that's maybe a little bit different. But what I really want to call out here is that this is an integrative framework. So it's not actually about, oh, this model is that different than another model. It's actually more of a structure. How are you going to put your IFS work together with your ACT training, together with your somatic experiencing training? Did you know you could interweave them? Mm-hmm. And so we want to interweave parts work. If people don't know IFS and they're new to parts work is some of the training that's part of the STAIR method. If you don't know about tracking sensations, that's part of the training, right? So the level 1 is really about experiential work and how are we going to do experiential work. So it does include threads of a lot of these different pieces. But I would say what's really different about it is how are we thinking about the work overall, and how are we making brain-based decisions in the moment in the room?
And if I can add something,
please.
We've worked with probably 75 presenters in the last 10 years, maybe more. I don't know anyone, like my brain needs to see a demo, like my ADD brain, and the way that, whether it's IFS or anything, like the way you slow things down and show your process, like I think that's such an incredible learning, because there's a lot of theory, but there's something that gets in your system when you watch your demos. And then obviously in the course, you'll be able to ask questions and slow it down.
Yeah. Well, I think there's one thing when we talk about it and we can kind of sit and get ideas that way. But if we're going to be putting in our body, I think we need to do two things. One is I think we need to be seeing live work. That's why there's so much live work. Whenever I'm presenting, I'm doing live work live or I'm showing tape. The other piece is I think we have to put it in our own bodies. And that's why there's a lot of deliberate practice invitation that you can actually do and engage in some of the skills and practices and relationship with yourself.
And are you able to take somebody live, Lenore, in a second? But
sure.
Let me ask, put two questions from Freddie and Lisa together. Freddie asked, just what do you mean by activation? I had a general idea, but need a clearer sense and differentiate. Do you mean, by the way, upper brain and lower brain? And then Lisa asks, I'm wondering how you work with more severe trauma and activation to keep them integrating the upper and lower brain without disassociation.
Great questions. Activation, specifically brain-wise, what I mean is electricity running through a neural network. So I can have activation of the witnessing mind and run electricity there. And I can have activation of the lower brain, some network that maybe emotionally holds a knowing in that lower system. We want electricity running through it. When electricity is running through one of those lower systems, what we're going to be seeing is embodied sense of truth about whatever that system knows. So like when you saw with Leonard and me working, there was a vague sense of this force field and then more clarity around now I've got a network that's running electricity. So it's going to be a more embodied sense. And how do you work with this with people who have more trauma, like more tendency towards maybe they have a really complex history. Maybe they have some dissociation on board. That has to do with the amount of differentiation that's present between witnessing mind and what's being activated. So we want to really increase that. And we're also going to really work on very, very slowly increasing kindness and compassion in the relationship between the lower brain activation and that. IFS would use self energy. Janina Fisher uses wise self. I might say witnessing mind. I think we're all talking about the same language. So how much love can we have embodied and present in the room is going to create a really high-sided container where we can even be in relationship with dissociation when it comes online. In level 2, we talk a lot about that.
Melissa asks, how do you work with clients who can't access bodily sensations or lower brain language? Not necessarily resistant, but can't access.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I start with experiential work with whatever they can access. Again, we can always differentiate witnessing mind from whatever's being experienced, even if that's thought. And what I find is that when we start having that differentiation on board, the lower brain suddenly hears, oh, somebody picked up the phone. I have more to say now. And all these other languages start coming online.
Here's a really complicated one. Why do you call it painting?
Because I think this is a really good question, because I believe that what we are doing is an art. And what that is going to require from us, like all artists, is effort and surrender that are intertwined. And that's what I want to help people do, is to know your skill set, trust yourself in the skill set you have, trust your own humility, where you can live in doubt with your people, and use all the skills that you have and all the effort while you surrender and say yes to the process and whatever it is that happens next, so that you can ride the wave of the relationship you're building with your people. And I think it's actually an intertwining. And so, yeah, I use painting because it's an art.
It was cute because we were joking before we even knew we were live about get your paintbrush out. I got mine.
I love, Brian, that you have a paintbrush right there.
I was trying to distract Jules to just relax because I knew
it's because Brian knows I get really nervous.
We actually had one person join who was an artist and didn't realize it was about therapy, but really enjoyed it.
Wonderful. I'm so glad.
I think another really important question.
I got one. Ian asked, I'm curious if anything can be said about how to balance letting them regulate through storytelling and jokes, and also gently guiding them back when they seem to be rambling, which Jules does with this client, and what is obviously a helpful way, often struggle to interrupt.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think there's a lot of work to be done between the therapist and themselves around interrupting. It's hard to interrupt. It's such a different kind of conversation we're creating in the therapy space. I think that's why I ask folks to say yes to a really unusual way of talking. And it is true that in order to have trust and empowerment of both of our systems simultaneously, I'm going to say yes to whatever your way is of regulating and kind of ride the wave. But I'm not going to drop my tools either. So I'm really going to make a space sometimes and even interrupt you and say, hey, could we get back to this thing? Or yeah, that makes so much sense how we're talking about it. You know, it's making me think about what you were saying earlier with whatever it is, devastation or humiliation or whatever that black hole feeling, right? I'll lean into that language. Another way to do an interruption is to go, wow, what happened to all that now that you're talking about this? And that brings us back into the work. So I think it's about respecting and trusting our people, and it's about trusting and respecting yourself and your skill set. And we're going to have both of those come together.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Jules. Gosh, there's so many good questions.
I think another really important question here is when you asked, can you show me how bad it can feel? Why do you want your client to experience pain? I'm trying to understand how this is helpful.
This is a really good question. In order for the network to be running electricity in its language, it's probably going to re-experience some, at least, of the original sensation. Because I want that network to be running electricity in a new environment, maybe back then there wasn't the holding space we've created. Maybe back then there wasn't anyone there to help say, yes, this pain happened and that was horrible. And also, it's not about you and we can hold you in kindness. So we want, if we're going to have a new experience for this network to happen, we need to be running the electricity, which means, unfortunately, we have to say yes to that full emotional knowing coming online at least a little bit. It's not because I want to torture anybody, but I do trust. Oh, gosh, y'all. You know what I have great trust in is my client's capacity. I trust them so much. And I trust them to tell me when we're nearing the edge of the capacity. If I listen closely and I'm really with them, and we're slow enough in our work, we'll catch when we hit those edges and really offer the support that's needed. So I think it's a balance of saying yes and trusting big capacity and knowing that we need to go slow.
I think we've addressed this. Somebody says, I'm also overwhelmed with so many modalities and trainings. I feel lost. I'm a licensed psychologist. Totally. And I want to add to that question, like, how have you, I know how much you think about this, and literally thousands of hours people that Jules puts on those. I'm not just making this up. I'd also be interested, like, how has this evolved in the last 3 years in your thinking?
Yeah.
Like going from...
I think it's simplified more and more, honestly, is how, because I think having a simple structure, well, I want to say this, me too. I was totally overwhelmed and working eclectically, where I had had a lot of different trainings and was trying to put them together and realized that I didn't really have sound reasons for using one thing or another thing in any given moment. And I was learning a lot about the brain all at the same time. So I'm learning a ton of modalities. I'm doing brain spotting training, somatic experiencing training, EMDR, IFS. I'm like doing all these modalities, and I'm learning about the brain simultaneously and really deepening into brain change. And I realized what I really wanted was a theory of mind and a brain-centered understanding of change. To help me organize all this so I wasn't so overwhelmed. So this was my answer to overwhelm, was to become an integrative therapist that has a single focus that then organizes a really easy structure for all of the different modalities and skills that I've gained over the years. And now when I get a new skill, it just goes right into the toolbox that's already organized. I know exactly where it goes. It's like that. And I think the evolution as I'm training more and more people is, how can I simplify it and deepen it so that it holds you all really well, while we don't fudge with the complexity of how the brain works at all. We're going to say yes to the complexity, but we're going to have a framework that's simple enough it's supportive.
Thank you so much. Well, we hope you all will join us. Christine Flynn, do you think she just wants to say thank you, or
I don't know,
or she wants to order coffee? We'll allow her to talk. Christine, do you want to?
Oh, hi. Thank you. Yes, I put a question in I still would like to ask.
Oh, sure.
And thank you, Jules, for this work. I love the simplicity aspect of it and look forward to this. My question, what I'm curious is how you introduce this work to either a new demo client or a new client who may have, whether it's skeptical parts or judgy parts or all of that.
Totally. How do I introduce it to a client like I was? Totally. Well, usually what I'll do is ask for permission to try a little experiment. So I tend to go experience first, explain second, because that actually matches the pattern of brain learning, because we tend to go a little bit right dominant in terms of speed. So we're an experience and then figure out what happened kind of brain learner. So I'll ask them to do a little experiment, and then we'll do something with whatever they're talking about. So you're talking about this subject with your job, and I'm wondering what happens in your body. I might do a little teeny tiny little bit of parts work or teeny tiny little bit of tracking sensation wise. And then I'll pause and say, okay, right now we activated the lower part of your brain and tried to bring the upper part of your brain into relationship with what's happening. The reason I care about that in this room is because whether you like it or not, this lower brain is driving all these problems you're telling me about. In order for that to change, we're going to have to activate it in here in a way that's super weird. I'm going to use weird language like I just did, and I'll give examples of what just happened. I'll slow us down like I just did. I'll give examples. I'll interrupt you like I just did and tell them when I just did that. How do you feel about that? That's the way I work. Would you like to engage in this kind of work?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Great question.
Thank you.
Teaching a client to use your therapy space is really important and actually one of the core tenets of level 1 training. So I'm with you. Psycho ed and teaching clients to use our space is really, really helpful.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, thank you all. And I'm just looking, we reduced the course from $1997 to $997. And we also have a 5-month payment plan. And one thing we never ever talk much about is we have the most incredible membership experience. We've been working with Gemma, and you also have all the graduates from STAIR 1 hopefully participating. So we'll support you the whole 5 months and beyond. So I hope you can join us. And thank you all. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Safe, resilient, and trust.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jules.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, everyone, for your kind attention and for the work you do.